Guys, it's January, and that means there's a lot of stuff to do. We are going to be installing a fence really soon, and there's a lot of things that we gotta get done before we can do that. First thing we need to do is I got a retractable hose reel thing. It's really cool. I guess that's what you do when you're an adult, when you say the words retractable hose and it's really cool in the same sentence. Anyways, I want to get the hoop house installed. I'm pretty sure that there are some neighborhood cats using my raised beds as a litter box. I can't have that. I need to install the hoop house, and I got a really cool garden cart for Christmas that I want to get put together. I need to get my seed racks out. I'll show you my seed starting area and what it looks like and what I recommend. Alright, we got a lot of stuff to do, so let's get to it. Alright, so this is the greenhouse hoop kit that I ordered. Comes with some clips, some netting, and some hoops. So let's give it a try and see how it works. Okay, we're all done here. I am quite pleased. That came together super quick, and I don't know if I said, but the main reason I'm doing this is because I have some stray cats in my neighborhood, which I don't mind, but they're using my beds as a giant litter box, and it's not cool. So, but I'm also thinking we should be having some storms or some cold weather, and what I can do is I can just put some, cold protectant fabric on top of this if I need to. So I'm gonna try to do the other one. Okay, the next thing on our list is I want to install my new hose reel I got. My husband got this for us for Christmas, and it had really good reviews. So let's see how hard this is to assemble. Installing this hose reel was super easy. All I really had to do was pre-drill some holes for the screws to go into the bracket and hold it on the side of the deck rail right there. Once you did that, you just slip that metal rod into the hole in the back, and that makes it be able to swivel back and forth. So the next clip was supposed to actually be a time lapse of me putting together this really cool wagon thing. But unfortunately, while me and my son were out in our yard putting this thing together, 2 giant stray dogs ran up to us and started growling and chased us into the house, and I decided that that was enough for that day. It was incredibly frightening and really makes me eager to get this fence installed as soon as possible. Alrighty, welcome to my front porch. I was pulling out my seed starting shelves, well, one of them, I have 2, and I figured I would stop and show you what I have been using this year to start my seeds. This year I had a big upgrade. I want to show you where I started because everybody, I feel like you need to start somewhere. You don't need to start like this. As I was saying, everybody should start small, because if you don't like it, then you don't want to have this huge investment. And this is not a huge investment, but it's more of an investment than it would be if you started small. So last year, I started with this kit actually that I got from Amazon. I think it was about $20, and I think it came with 5 trays. And the big thing is that before, when I started seeds, I didn't really have a lot of success. And I think that was because I didn't have a light source. So that was my main goal, was to find a kit that provided a little bit of light. And that's what exactly this kit provides. You get, the tray part, the cell tray, and then you get a dome
that has a place for the light to go. And let me show you what the lights look like. So it's a USB, so you plug this into your USB outlet, and then all these are the lights, so they just fit right on top, and they kind of snap in. Trust me, they snap in. They snap in and they provide light. So although it's not a lot of light, it still works. I started my zinnias last year in these. I started plenty of lettuce in here. I actually started all of my tomatoes and my peppers in these too. Now granted, it did take a little while because of the light was not as strong as it could be. I didn't have a warming mat. But like I said, I was just getting started. I didn't want to spend a lot of money just in case I didn't like it. Really quick, one thing I did want to mention, one of the downfalls about this setup, when you have a humidity dome like this on top of seedlings, you know, like this, there's no airflow. So if you picture in your mind an environment where there's heat from the light, moisture from the water, you're gonna get mold. So what I ended up doing was taking some bamboo skewers like this. I took 4, and what I did was in each of the corners, I stuck them like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I set the humidity dome / light on top of there. So it was still getting a little bit of light. There was a little bit of, you know, room for airflow down beneath, and I actually put a little fan at the bottom just to try to prevent mold and algae growth on there, and it did actually work. So if you do decide to get something like this, I do recommend doing the skewer trick. So fast forwarding to this year, I wanted to do a little bit of an upgrade just because I had so much success with the little tiny greenhouses and a little shelving system that I wanted to upgrade to something bigger. Before we get into talking about the shelves, I want to talk about the containers that I used for my seedlings once they got too big for the cell tray. On Amazon, I bought I can't remember the exact dimensions of these little pots, but the thing that I like about them is that they're very sturdy. They're a little bit small, but they are very well made, in my opinion. And I mean, if I were to wash these up, you wouldn't even be able to tell that I used them last year. Now for a bigger size up, I got these pots. And on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, these are awful quality. I'm not gonna lie. These are awful quality. They are very flimsy. They're like essentially hard paper. However, when you buy them on Amazon, you get an enormous amount for really cheap. So what I did, honestly, was I just put 2 or 3 together to, you know, make it a little bit more sturdy. And once the soil is in here, it's a little bit more sturdy, but I recommend these if you're just, you know, kind of starting out to up pot your plants and you don't have a lot of money to spend. These will work, but there are probably a lot better choices out there for you. As far as cell trays go, I have been using these ones that I, again, bought from Amazon. These are similar to the ones that you can buy at like the big box stores. They're not the best of quality. These are brand new. I got this year. The bottoms are pretty flimsy, but they will work, and I'll put a picture of how much, I can't remember how much I got these for, but they're reasonably priced. Okay, so here's the whole setup. I believe I got 10 of these in the one pack, and I think this is a 40. Yeah, a 40 cell tray. This humidity dome that it comes with does have the holes for ventilation, but to be honest, when it comes to using the humidity dome, I will use it to keep my baby's fingers out of the soil. Once they germinate, I go ahead and remove it completely because I don't want to risk mold growing in my plants. Something really important that you really need when you're starting out gardening are labels. You don't have to buy labels. I have plenty of time made labels out of recycled, like milk jugs, cutting the plastic out of milk jugs, all different things you can make labels out of. For as far as soil and potting mix, seed starting mix rather, I am using this Espoma Organic Seed Starting Premium Potting Mix. Again, I bought this off of Amazon, and so far it's been doing great for me. It's super light and fluffy, seems really great quality. I'll update soon on how my seedlings are doing, but so far this is a great product. Okay, and finally, my beautiful shelf. So this shelf, again, is from Amazon. You see a trend here. I can't help it when it's so convenient and you can just order everything in one place, you know? This is a 5-tiered shelf. Each one has these grow lights on them. They are secured on the top by zip ties and are plugged into the side there. And then on the other side is where they all plug into each other. So you can see this one is plugged into this one is plugged into that one, and it goes all the way down, and then there's a little switch at the bottom here that turns them off and on, and then here is the cord that goes into the wall. And one thing to note is that, you know, since these are secured at the top, they're stationary, you know, when you're growing plants and seedlings, when they're first growing, you want them relatively close to the light, or else they'll grow up to be leggy seedlings and they won't be as strong. For my smallest seedlings, I will use red Solo cups. And I can get 2 trays next to each other comfortably, and that's about, I don't know, 2.5 inches from the light, which is pretty good. And red Solo cups are obviously pretty cheap, and you can keep using them year after year and they hold up pretty well. Okay, and then so for my intermediately tall seedlings, I use these cake plates that I got from Target Dollar Spot for $5. Every single Valentine's Day they put them out. So if you're just now watching this video, make sure you run out to Target around Valentine's Day and get you some of these because they work great. And so this is about, you know, 3.5 inches from the light, which is cool. And lastly, for my taller guys, I use these little punch cups, I guess. I'll try to link them below for you guys. But yeah, they work really well for kind of like, I don't know, what's that, 4.5, 5 inches from the light. And then of course, when they get bigger than this, I'll just have them sitting on their own. So here's everybody in action. I started a few things in December and January just because I couldn't help myself. So I've got my red Solo cups here because these are all my little guys, and you can see I've just got a little bit of germination that's occurring. I've got some lobelia coming up and some celosia, some stalk there in the back, and then next level I've got some snapdragons that are doing well. This is a mix of artichoke plants I started from seed. That's another snapdragon, and then some dill. And then here at the bottom, I've just got some onions where I do have them covered. My son loves to pluck the onion greens here and put his fingers in the dirt. So I do try to keep these covered while he's away. Take them off every once in a while for them to get some airflow. But unfortunately, I have to keep these covered so that they will survive until it is time for me to put them in the ground. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.